Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot with Melrose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology reading, which you can find on my other channel, Astrology Today with Melrose. The idea behind the Tarot portion here is to provide some further insight into the ongoing and current energies based on the day's astrology and Tarot influences. First, I'll discuss the Tarot card that sits on the left-hand side of the page. Then I'll do a quick review of the day's astrology before playing another card that may give us something more to think about. Let's get into it. The Tarot card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Ten of Swords. And swords are air in the Tarot. Gemini is an air sign. And the Ten of Swords is about the third decan, or the third 10 days of the sun's 30-day transit through the sign of Gemini. So here we are coming to the end of the sun's transit through Gemini and coming to the end of, of a cycle of one kind or another as well. So air element is very much about how we use our thoughts and words, how we make our plans. And swords and Tarot and Gemini are both air. I think I already said that. So in this card, we find that somebody's been pretty much laid out flat and stabbed in the back 10 times. This is this really sort of denotes a feeling of betrayal, a feeling of, like having suffered a surprise attack, right? Like obviously they were snuck up on and taken from behind there. Something beyond your control has happened, and it can leave us feeling kind of victimized. It can leave us feeling like, whoa, what the heck happened? Those people just ganged up on me, right? So swords, again, thoughts and words. I'm not talking about a literal knife fight, okay? I'm talking about an expression of anger, or an expression of just the way somebody has thought about you or made plans against you, or perhaps even used your own words against you to sort of lay you low. And, the good news is now you know who you can't trust. And then the other good news is you're at the end of something that wasn't going well for you. Whether you realized whether you realized it wasn't going well for you or not, whether you noticed those clouds gathering around you and the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords or not, the the judgment has come down. And so, you get to leave some people behind in this situation. You get to leave a whole situation behind if you want to. And I would recommend doing it if you can't trust the people who are a part of that situation with you. And the nice thing is you get to make a fresh start. You can just, not just, but it can be pretty painful to be in a position like this, but understand that you can, after nursing your wounds a little bit, get up, dust yourself off, have a new idea, collaborate with somebody else, learn the lesson of, how you got betrayed in that way. So hopefully you can not get betrayed again in that way. And with that said, oh, I'm missing some tarot cards. Excellent. They were out of my way because we set them out in the light of the full Sagittarius moon last night and this morning. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix up some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Gemini and Mercury is in Gemini too. So sun, Mercury, and Gemini. This is really like a lot of focus on what's going on in our outer life and our work, social, and civic lives. And we have a lot to say about it. We are thinking about it. We have goals that we're working on. We have collaborations that we're making. There's a lot of communication. There's a lot of having ideas and expressing ideas, sharing information at this time. And that's really good. That's really good. In spite of what the Ten of Swords may have, sometimes information is really good to have. In fact, that was that old phrase we used to hear on TV, knowledge is power, right? Okay, so the moon is a waning gibbous. We're still in the full of the moon. It was just full early this morning. No, early yesterday morning. So we're still in the full of the moon, and the moon is in Capricorn right now, but we're on the waning side. So this is the time when we start to we're still celebrating. We can still look back on the culminations that we've made and pat ourselves on the back. But we're starting to sort of also look back on how we brought things together last month so that we can take a critical eye toward how things could go better for us next time. You know, things we wouldn't like to repeat, things that we would like to do differently, okay? And the moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn is very much, you know, if we have work to do, let's just do it. That's the feeling, that's the vibe. Because Capricorn believes that if you put in hard work toward your goal, you will have success. Okay, so on the moon side of the page today, we have a couple of squares. Moon square Jupiter isn't really a very bad thing. It's just there's a warning there to avoid overindulgence. But when moon is in aspect with Jupiter, Jupiter is a really easy kid to get along with. He's kind of big and friendly. So we can be good company. We can be even kind of generous with others, or, you know, share more openly about ourselves when the moon is with Jupiter. And it's generally okay. Moon square Mars, on the other hand, you know, this is a feeling like, you know, I perceive something that I really want to get right now. I want to have it now. And because I am so assertive, feeling assertive, this challenge is going to come in and say, yeah, but, you know, if you act irritable or if you show impatience, that's probably not going to work for you, right? So we have to practice a little bit of mindfulness, practice a little bit of patience, and, you know, remember to be kind to people when we're trying to get help from them, or to be kind to ourselves and to be kind in general when we're trying to approach the world, especially about the things that we're trying to get to. And then moon trine Uranus here this evening. That's beautiful. Follow your heart energy. This is, you know, we can make changes in the heart. We can make changes in the home. We can maybe change plans with our loved one, that kind of thing. And it will be okay, all right? The trine function is practically a blessing there, saying, go ahead and do it. You know, it's probably for a good reason anyway. And then on the sun side of the page today, we have Mars going conjunct to Chiron. And that will be with us through 6/19 through June 19th. Mars conjunct to Chiron is they're conjunct in Aries. Okay, so Mars in Aries is right at home, and it's really you know, feeling good about itself. Mars is, you know, kind of ambitious and assertive, you know, sort of forward moving and direct about what it wants to get. And then, you know, Chiron here is about healing, and Chiron in Aries is about healing our relationship to the greater community, right? So many of us have had problems socially where we didn't feel like we fit in one way or another, and or were shown that we didn't fit in one way or another. And, you know, it back in the past in our lives. And now is the time to be working on that, healing that within ourselves and healing our relationship with the rest of the world. So Mars conjunct to Chiron right now is really asking us to be direct about being ourselves. You know, Chiron in Aries is, how comfortable do you feel being yourself? And Mars says, what the heck, just do it. Okay, so you know, this is beautiful because it's Pride, right? It's Pride Month, and this is a time I've noticed when when those of us who celebrate Pride are like getting gussied up, we're looking our best. We, you know, want to show up to the celebration looking and feeling good, and you know, we might get a little extra gussied up and wear something a little strange or weird or, you know, very bright. You know, and just let our freak flags fly a little bit and be our beautiful selves. I think it's a great time of year to be encountering an aspect like that. So enjoy it while you can. With Mars in an amplified position, okay, conjunct amplifies the energies of both of these planets. Again, there's always a chance that there is some irritability or impatience or impetuousness. see if I can think of some other imp words, because there are a lot of imp words that go with Mars and fire signs in general. But yeah, Mars's presence indicates that we can be impatient or irritable or restless or, likely to do something without, thinking of the consequences necessarily. So just be aware of that. We definitely still want to think of the consequences for letting our freak flags fly. I'm not putting it all the way out there. I'm just going to put it out there enough that everybody notices me. And then in the ongoing column, Mercury trine Pluto, conscious self-analysis. This has been a golden period of time, over a month, when we have had this, the planet for our personal intellect, our conscious analytic selves, in this blessed trine position with Pluto, which is the planet for the stuff that's underneath, the stuff we don't usually see or try not to think about or talk about, right? But it also, it always bubbles up a little bit. And right now when it's bubbling up, we've got Mercury there saying, I can see what's happening inside your heart. I can see what's happening inside my own gut, inside my own heart, inside the back of my mind. And that's great, because I'm able to think about it, and I'm able to even make plans for how to deal with those more difficult feelings that might be coming up. Pluto is retrograde, and Pluto brings about transformations. Pluto in Capricorn has been bringing about transformations of our traditions and institutions for the past 25, 30 years. I feel like a broken record saying that, but it's really been something else. Pluto, when it's in retrograde 6 months out of the year, the transformations are more on the inside, in the inner life, in the feeling life, rather than in the expressed life. So, right. So Mercury trine Pluto is really talking about what's on the inside. And we are going through changes, all of us. We're going through endings and beginnings on the inside at this time. So be kind to yourself and be kind to others. You never know how that's going for someone. Saturn is retrograde, and Saturn is also about, Saturn retrograde is about examining the habits and ways of being that we have come to rely on that are not really supportive. And Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius. So Aquarius wants us to always take a scientific view, and Aquarius always wants us to think about the greater good, okay? Aquarius wants to be the rising tide that lifts all boats. So Saturn retrograde in Aquarius says, if you are relying on a habit or a way of being, or a tradition or something that you consider an institution, and you find out that that habit or way of being or tradition or institution is creating an unequal relationship between you and another human being, then we've got to find a way to establish a new routine, establish a new habit, establish a new way of being, or a new affiliation to our institutions, or an affiliation to a different institution, right? So we've got to change our ways a little bit. We've got to think about, who loses when we win, because in Aquarius, we don't want anybody to be losing in terms of everybody having equality and everybody having the things that we need, okay? So you've got to think about who loses when I win. And when you think about that, then you might be able to also think about, wow, well, how can I start winning without making this other human being lose? All right. And also, that applies to the environment, and that applies to culture, and that applies to government. Whoever is losing when you win, that is not a stable way to maintain your personal integrity. And with that said, I'll turn this over. We have the Seven of Cups today. And it's funny, I saw the Seven of Cups right before I turned it over. I thought, I'll bet this is, and it was. So Seven of Cups says we have choices. Cups are about emotion, creativity, and intuition, right? When I say emotion and intuition, those are both other words for how I feel, for the feeling life. And the moon is very associated with cups because cups is the element of water, and the moon moves the tides. So um, Cancer is a water sign, which the moon rules Cancer, right? So it's a very watery card. It's a very it's about our emotions and intuitions. It's about listening to our instincts and what our gut is telling us about a choice that we have to make. And it looks like we have a lot of choices. And some of them look really good, and some of them look kind of weird or dangerous, even. Some of them I couldn't tell you, like, is that a flower or a magic wand? And so, also there's an element here of illusion, right? Just because I see something sticking up out of that cup, I don't know what the rest of that choice entails necessarily. Okay, like all we know when we have many choices, when we're making a choice and we have many to choose from, all we kind of know is the information we can get in the moment, right? And sometimes there's more information there than what we're getting. So you never know what you're going to get on the other side of your choice. But you still just have to choose as well as possible. And definitely, there's an element of listening to your personal guidance, right? I want to say, yeah, that there's inner work to do, okay? We have to pay attention to what our emotions are telling us about something. First of all, if you are overjoyed or overexcited about something, based primarily on how it looks, you need more information, okay? That's definitely there. And on the other hand, you're given several choices for a reason, okay? So if you're super excited about one thing, say you have a choice of 5 different cars, right? And one is the shiny red car that you want, and the others are probably equally good cars, but they just don't look as hot and jazzy as you want them to look, right? So you're immediately drawn to the red car, and that's what your intuition is telling you, because you love the color red and you love a hot red car, right? But you know, all the choices being equal, as far as means you need more information, and that you might wind up with a green car that has a lot less miles and not a new transmission in it, right? Or you might wind up with the blue car that gets better gas mileage at this time and is going to save you a lot more money than driving around in that red car would. So examine your options. Be like an air sign, like a Gemini. Read the whole menu. Ask all the questions. Know what all of your options are before you go ahead and make a choice. And I'm saying that, this says follow your heart, right? But this says practice patience as well, okay? So we have to be a little bit patient. What your heart says immediately about the shiny red car may not be what it says, after we do a little digging on the details of these cars, right? So we have to be a little patient. We have to ask all the questions. And taken together with the Ten of Swords, I see that as a really good sign. Just that, with the Ten of Swords, you have come to the end of something that was not working well for you, right? And so you get to make another choice. But a reminder that, it was intellect that brought you down, right? And now you're going to be in your emotions about it. So again, you have to be careful about when you're making your choices, right? You have to get all the information you can, right? You have to kind of be on guard against being tricked by people, even if you haven't come to the end of a cycle or haven't been betrayed or brought down like this. I see this as sort of a warning, if you will, to get more information. Those swords are information. They are words and plans, all right? Get all of it, so that you don't wind up sort of flat dead in your shiny red new car. Not to be morbid, but there you go. So yes, trust your gut, but also don't necessarily trust your most overexcited gut. Okay, we need to be grounded. We need to be centered when we are choosing among different good options. We need to really seek more information than what we see on the surface, so that we know that we're getting the best that we can, and then we can feel really good about it. I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for being here today. I truly appreciate your presence. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.